Welcome to this look at a new mod map to Farming Simulator 22 with me, MrSealyp. Welcome back to Bantikow. Bantikow, I say Bantikow, Bantikow. I'm going to say this now, and I'm going to get a lot of comments in the well, I'm going to get a lot of comments. A lot of people have said this is a Polish map. Going around the map, a lot of the signs and signposts and stuff seem to be in German. I thought it was German, but anyway, there's a difference between Bantikow or Bantikow, I suppose, but I'm saying Bantikow. I think it's German. But that being said, this has been converted over and modernised from FS19 to FS22 by Puma145, 255.81 megabytes download. Contracts are available on this map. We'll talk about slot count and stuff. Actually, we can talk about slot count straight away. On New Farmer, it's 1,157. On Farm Manager and Start from Scratch, it's 1,142. Not much of a difference. The difference is, and I'll say it now, but I'll show you as we go around. On Farm Manager and Start from Scratch, there's no sleep trigger. There are no seed or fertiliser tanks, and there's no silo. Which on New Farmer, which I'm on, we'll see those as we go around. If you sell all the vehicles and machinery, and there's a lot of it you start with, I got the slot count down to 852. You might be able to get it a little bit lower than that, so if you wanted to go completely clear everything and start from scratch, you can get the slot count right down. There are no collectibles on this map. The other thing I will say is field prices are pretty high. If we look at, for example, we'll start with on New Farmer, Field 5, Plot 27, which is the main farm, and Plot 24. But if we look for a small one, say for example Plot 16, that's 307 grand. We go on to some of these bigger ones, 1.254 million, 1.039, 1.266, 1.576. They're not cheap. It's going to be a tricky proposition on this map to build up to buy those kind of things. Now, as we go around the map as well, there are going to be certain plots we're going to need to buy because we have got animals around the map. We don't own the pens, and none of the triggers are showing at the moment. If I come back off there, none of the animal triggers are showing, so we'll have to buy those plots of land. So what I'm going to do is put some money in now. Bear with me, and we shall continue. Excellent. That's done. We'll hop out. So, starting here, we've got a sleep trigger just there. Like I say, Farm Manager and Start from Scratch, there is no sleep trigger. Sleep trigger there. All these barns and buildings around, so we'd also start with the dog as well. Actually, that's a good point. I don't think we start with the dog. But anyway, on Farm Manager or Start from Scratch. All these barns and buildings are empty at the moment, and there are loads of them here. It's kind of like a... That's what was making me lean towards a Polish map. It's got that cooperative vibe to it, you know, like it's a big farming kind of industry. A lot of machinery owned by big companies, the government, that kind of thing. Well, companies now, but the government. And we do start with a lot of machinery and equipment. One thing I will say, the lighting or the colours, the textures, everything to me seems just right. Some of the shadows can be a bit dark, just a little bit in the shadows, but then as you get in towards them, it's actually not too bad. But again, it's worth pointing out, as we come up through the yard, you'll see a load of equipment and machinery there. We're going to go around the equipment and machinery in just a moment. I'm going to kind of do a weird loop around to take in all the equipment and the main farmyard, then we'll head around. Like I say, all these barns and buildings are accessible and are okay for storage. We come around the back of this one here, and I'll show you on the map where we are and where we've been, as I always do. We have got a couple of raised points here for loading and unloading if you want to. We've got a trailer around the back of here, and we've got seed and fertiliser points. Like I say, these aren't here on Farm Manager or Start from Scratch, which brings me on to talking about mods as well, because under build mode there are no vehicle mods put in by the map maker. But if we go down to, I don't think there's anything under sheds. I don't think there's anything under sheds. No silos though. We have got out on the end here. We've got manure heap and we've got silage clamps. Nothing under silage extensions. Under container, this is where you find the seed and fertiliser tank. So if you wanted to buy them, they are there, but we have got two on the map here at the main farm. Don't think there's anything under tools or farmhouses. Production, there were a few kind of fitted into the map. Production buildings there. Sell points, we've got a farmer's market out on the end. Nothing under greenhouses, orchards or generators. Animals, there was nothing under animal pens. The animal pens that are on the map are fixed in place. They are kind of part of the map. Decoration, no, I don't think there was anything under fences or anything under there. And then landscaping, we had a couple of extra textures in here. Got that kind of concrete, more sort of, say, bobbly concrete, but but a fairly standard sort of palette there, and nothing under trees and plants. So not too extensive, but there's a few bits in there to have a look at. So, and we're going to carry around the back of this building. And when we get onto looking at the machinery, the list of equipment, this is another one of those ones where I've done so many map tours on FS17, 19, now 22. Remembering the map, some of them jump straight back into your memory and go, oh yeah, I remember this one. This one, not so much. It's weird how, apart from one little bit around the... Well, we'll get to that later on. These aren't silage clamps. I think these are just for loading or unloading or storing of grains or something like that, maybe. We've got a ramp up at the back here. But these don't come up with anything with silage clamps. But we're going to cut across here because we're going to look at start machinery. We've got our grasswork equipment here. So we've got a baler, we've got a mower, windrower and tedder. So we come around here. We've got John Deere class. We're going to use the class as we go around, I think. We've got a Schaefer front loader. You've got the Braidell lime or fertiliser spreader. We've got a sprayer. Over this side, we've got this mean about being quite a lot of stuff. We've got a weeder. We've got 2 seeders. We've got cultivators and a cultivator and a plough, and then a plough here. So yeah, 2 seeders, but not a planter, which is interesting. If I grab the class, we'll head out across more equipment out here. There's a fuel point just here on the left, just there. So on our right, we've got our trailers lined up. We've got a Massey Ferguson. We've got a John Deere forage harvester with some gear on it, and we've got a case harvester. That's an interesting one to start off with as well. Don't often start with forage harvesters, so there's a lot of stuff. If we go and look at it from this menu, it kind of seems more, there you go, owned items, kind of stark and obvious just how much is there. It's, wow, there's a load of gear. So yeah, it does start with a lot. Now if you don't, like I say, if you don't want that, sell it all off. You can get the slot count down. Got 2 silage clamps to the right hand side just here. More building space, and as we come around here we've got a silo. Now this is one that can't be replaced, because if we go back into build mode and go to silos, you'll go out to here and see there's not, that silo isn't here under silos to replace it. It is a standard silo, takes standard crop types, it's not a multi-fruit or anything like that, and on Farm Manager and Start from Scratch this isn't here. So if you particularly want this one for any reason, you want to be on a new farmer if you want that. So that's the main farm area. Now there, if we go back to our map, so we've basically just gone around this bit here. What I'm going to do is a kind of a weird route round to try and take in everything as efficiently as possible. I'm hoping I haven't missed any plots that need to be purchased. I'll show you where we are and what they are when we get round to them. But it takes in all of the animals, the biogas plant. There's a couple you can buy that don't have any triggers or anything on them, but you can buy the plots of land, which is quite handy. So what we're going to do you want to go out that gate? We're going to go out the main gate where we started, and we're going to head west, and then north, and then across the top. And like I say, I'll do what I usually do and show you where we are while we're doing it. Now the other things to point out as well is even when you own this plot of land, you do on a new farmer but not on Farm Manager or Start from scratch, the buildings aren't removable either, so you can't sell the buildings off or anything like that. They are fixed in place too. So we're going to go this way. I have to say that there was little bits, like I say, I remember little bits from FS19 on here. I really like the level of detail, like rusty gates and all the bits and bobs. Now I think it feels crisper, cleaner. It does say it's been modernised, and I really genuinely kind of get the feel. It feels, get that feeling. It feels very immersive as well. I like the layout of it. So we're going to take a right just here. We'll come back to the town in a little while. So to our left we have got plot 37. The plot's at 37, has a lime station on it already, but as you can see we've got an animal pen here. This is the sheep pen. If we go back to our map, we are now here. So this plot here, plot 37, will set you back 166,000. If we buy that, we then get our sheep triggers all come up. Feed trough is there, water trough is there, dialogue box is just here. This will do 150 sheep, and then we got round the back there is where your wool pallets will spawn. But like I said, even though I own this now, this is not sellable. These are fixed in place. They are on the map for good. The doors don't open to the building. I've just noticed actually that light's floating. Potentially an update in the works. So we go 150 sheep. Then we're going to head north. Coming up on our right hand side, we've got the main vehicle shop, machinery store, however you want to refer to it. And then we're going to cut across the fields. It's fine. It just saves us going backwards, sort of retracing our steps. So come around the side there. Open these doors up. The workshop trigger is inside this building. I like this as an option. Yeah, that's Forster's Forest. I'm sure it's German. So workshop trigger is inside here. Sometimes you have the workshop trigger just sat to the side of a building. I like the fact it's inside a building. It feels, like I say, it just adds that a little bit more immersion to it, I guess. So, you know, not all of them are like that. There's a fuel point at the back here. Some shed space. And then your vehicle trigger, vehicle store, vehicle workshop, not vehicle workshop, vehicle store trigger is just here. This is also the reset point, so if you need to reset anything for any particular reason, it will reset back to here. Sometimes they reset back to farms on maps, but generally speaking, it is the store that's the reset point, but that's not always a given. That's why I always double check it and I always mention it. So we're going to cut across country now. I'm going to go round the crop. Heading east again, across the top of the map to the next cluster of sell points. It is, it's undulating. It's not hilly. It's not going to be particularly tricky from that respect, but it has got some sweeps and, you know, not valleys per se, but it's got a nice sweep to it, I reckon, possibly more than undulations. So back onto this little road here, heading up. On our left, we've got a cluster of productions. So tucked away in here, we have got dairy on the left-hand side. We've got sugar mill just there, oil mill just here, and cereal factory tucked away here. This little industrial complex. Hop back in the tractor. So we've come from the sheep pen up that road, vehicle store, we cut across the field here, up this little road, and we're now here. So what we're going to do is follow this track down to this section here, which is a cow farm. That's another plot that needs to be purchased for the triggers to appear. There's a truck just up here. Enjoy the scenery as we go. I think one thing, I say one thing, another thing, although it's a kind of double-edged sword really, the field prices are high and expensive, but it's one of those, it's not an American map, but it's big wide open spaces. There's not hedges and fences in the way for the most part, and the fields are very big, so it's a kind of, it's one of those, it's a European map with a, it's like an American feel, but you know what I mean, plenty of space for big machinery if you want to go down that route. So we're coming in the back of the farm here. Open the gate and we'll go back to the map. So we're here. This will cost you 495,000. You get all this area here with all these sheds and buildings, and then the big open cow pasture just there. So if we purchase that, you'll see the triggers will now come up. There we go. So that's your cow pasture. We do have a hayloft and we do have a manure heap. There's also, I was racking my brains when I put a question mark next to it on my notes. Like I said, all these buildings, you can get into all these. Hayloft to the left hand side there. We've got silage clamp just here. As we go through here, I do like these as well. So your silage, your slurry pits, slurry either side, but you can collect your slurry from here when your cows are producing it. So the cow pasture is out there, but this is where your slurry will be. The manure heap we're going to go past in just a second, and at the end we've got what looks like a silo. I was racking my brains. It's not showing up on the thing. I'm thinking, is it a silo? How do I check? How do I find out? Manure heap is just to the right. Then it dawned on me. Those are the milk tanks. So when the cows are producing milk, that's where you collect your milk from, in those big tanks there. It's funny how your brains... I spent ages trying to work out what it was. Anyway, open the gate here. I'm just going to whiz around. This is the other thing I like as well. This kind of... Although I did off camera buy some cows to put in the pasture to see if they would wander up here. I didn't get any actually do it. I was hoping they were going to wander across, which I thought they might. Dialogue boxes here. I think the bedding goes in here because we've got the trigger here. So I think the bedding's going to be here. Possibly some feed, but there is a feed trough out in the field. And once you've got the cows, you don't need water. It doesn't come up with a water trigger. Unlike the sheep over there that does have a water point. So we come through here. This gate will open as well. If we open that. Nice big open pasture here. And there is a feed trigger here. So I think it's bedding in there, feed out here. And like I say, you don't need water. It will charge you for water. That's one of the things I kind of always skip over, and it has been mentioned a few times. Whilst they don't require water on barns and buildings, that it does it automatically. At midnight, you do get charged a little fee for the supply of water on any of those maps. So anyway, there's your dialogue box. As I said, slurry, manure, milk just over there. So, continuing on. Find my class. Where did I leave it? Just here. But again, it's I don't know. I like all this detail, you know, like I said, all the rust and the stuff everywhere. It just gives that feeling it's been here a long time, or it's been left for a while, and you're sort of coming in to revive it all. I don't know, maybe that's just me. So heading a bit further south with the cow pasture on the right hand side. There's another gate to the cow pasture there. There's little bits like this as well, little streams and stuff everywhere. It's nice. Left hand side, biogas plant. There's a lime station at the biogas plant. The biogas plant is the next plot you would need to buy if you want to. It's the plot you buy, not the biogas plant. Two silage clamps. As you see, the stuff there at the moment, there's no trigger showing. Lime station at the back there. We go back to our map. We've come down this road here, and we're currently here. So this will set you back 104,000. We buy that. There we go. Trigger's now up here. It's a standard silage clamp, a biogas plant. Words, MrSealyp. The 4 standard things coming in, digestate coming out, and the cycles per month are pretty standard. It's nothing unusual with this one. But the fact you buy the land as well, there's a bit of open space here, so you could probably put some other placeables on here if you want to. It's nice and flat, no reason why you wouldn't be able to. So, back out from here. We will be coming back along in just a moment past here, only because it's the way the route works. I couldn't work out a sneaky way through from here. But anyway, eastward we are heading now. We'll just pull in here. On our left hand side, just here, there's this little farm. Now, if we go back to the map, we're now here. This large area here can be bought as one big block with the field round behind it, which allows for placeables and stuff like that. And these little farms or housing here with little courtyards would give you the option to put sleep trigger or something there if you wanted to have your house there if you want to. This one here, plot 38, if we purchase that, that's where our chickens are. So we've chickens here, little chicken farm, I guess, chicken farm. Dialogue box is just here. 200 this will take. I think the barns and buildings all open. We've got barn space in here for storage and things like that. We've got a feed trigger just over here, and then we've got our egg pallets will spawn just over here in the corner. Kind of old disused farm that's now being used for chickens, but got a couple of stationary rabbits. Might be some more in this corner as well, actually. But yeah, so chickens just here. Then we move through to the next sell point. Come up on the right. I think I have to open these gates, these aren't automatic. Ooh. So sell point under there, that's the grain elevator, just in there. Come across this building here. We've got sell point here for vegetables. This is vegetable and fruit sell. And then this end we've got a barn. Now there are two barn sell points. These are the ones that you have for selling of silage grass, hay, bales. I think usually you can do loose product here as well. But I know it's normally bales that are represented at those sell points. But I'm pretty sure you can do loose product as well. Actually, I'm going to double check here because I think, yeah, we have got a fuel point just over here as well. So kind of little gas stations all over the place. So back to the map then. We've come all the way out to here. We're now going to go back along just by the biogas plant and we're going to head south. Because the one set of animals we haven't had yet, actually there are no horses on here. There are chickens, cows, sheep and pigs, the last ones we're going to go to. And there aren't any horses. Well, at least I haven't come across a stable anywhere. So, just hoping the traffic comes. Bit of luck. It's the tree line roads as well. The fact it's all a little bit different as you go around, and I don't know. That's something as well. Forestry. Let me just have a quick look on the map. Have we got any forest areas? Not really, actually. I'm just looking to see. It's one of those things as well. I mention them when they're there because they're obvious, but it didn't dawn on me there weren't any. Yeah, we haven't really got any forested areas. I mean, there are trees around. As you can see, the fact I just suddenly thought of it is because I was driving past these tall, I'll say poplars. Might be lime trees, but anyway. So, turning left and heading south. It's quite a drive down from here. Gives you an idea of the scale of the map as well, really, or the scale of the field, should I say. The scale of the map is a standard size map, but you know what I mean. It just gives you an idea of the size of the fields as we go. I did mention contracts were available, didn't I? I think I did. You just see the building coming up now, over to the left. There you go, there's your bit of forestry just there. If you do want to do a bit of forestry. Turning left. Eastward again, we come to the pig farm. Another plot that needs to be purchased for the triggers and stuff to appear. Just going to put in just there. What's that about the signs? I'm sure it's German. So, we're now all the way down here. This plot, 18, we'll set it back 89,016. If we buy that. And there we go. Pigs, manure heap, slurry points around the corner as well. This will do 300 pigs. Again, I think the bedding trigger is inside. Probably the feed trigger with this one as well. Oh no, feed trigger's around here, wasn't it? Feed trigger around the side here. So you've got an open bit here as well. I'm not sure actually how they get all there. There's not that's interesting. There's not a doorway in the building. Anyway, a bit strange. And then as we come around the sides here, we've got the manure heap that's showing on the map, and then the slurry pit. Single one this time rather than the cow one. Just to the side there. That's the pigs. Again, barn and shed space available. Now heading out, we've got a couple of sell points all out here. I'll show you where we are. So we're going to head out here to these sell points just here. and then we've got to come all the way back, and I'm going to cut across country a little bit. There's a lime station just there, so I'm going to cut down there and cross over this bridge. I'm going to go up there, and I'll probably see you... I mean, the lime station is a lime station. There's a little barn next to it. I'll probably see you back there, so whether I'll go up the main road or go that way, and I'll see you probably about here as we head across. There's a little plot here, plot 29. If you buy that, no triggers appear, but there are a couple of silage clamps in there. We'll drive past that on the way, and then we'll head into the sell points on the western side of the map. But I'll do these ones first, and then I'll see you over there. So, building on the right hand side coming up. Long building, 3 sell points inside the building. You don't see the triggers. That's another reason. A lot of people say, a lot of people, I've had comments in the past people saying, but you're just going around showing people what they can see anyway. Sometimes, and sometimes it's just, you know, people just prefer to watch it rather than spend the time to go searching around. It's easier to just put it on while you're at work or doing something. But like on the map it shows them, but if you're just driving around and not constantly checking back to the map, they are inside the building on this one. It just shows you where things are. So we've got sugar beet cell just there, we've got potato cell just here, and then we've got another barn cell point. I said there were 2 on the map. This is the second one, just along from the pigs. All 3 inside the building. So back out from here, and I'll see you where I showed you on the map in just a moment. So we are just south of the main farm where we started. Left hand side, there's a nice big lake on the left hand side. As we head towards the main village and more sell points. That's the little plot I was talking about on the left hand side. You can buy, it's got a couple of side clamps on it. I sit on a little pontoon dock there. Bit of fishing, surrounded by ducks. It's all those little features, it's nice little stuff. Is that stalk up on there? I just noticed that. Blimey. Same time, what is that on the roof? I was losing my mind. Right, so down into the village, town. This is the other thing I noticed as well. Often you'll see people walking around like individually or in they're in little groups as well, which is something a little bit different. Whether it's just the fact that the NPCs they're at different speeds have all kind of gathered, but again it makes it feel a bit more real rather than just individual people walking along the roads. I don't know. It's a little thing. Anyway, left hand side bakery. Behind the bakery we've got the village grain elevator sell point. In there, there's a car coming, which one on the block. So, village grain elevator there, bakery just here. On the left, we've got the animal dealer. I'm just going to cut across the grass here because we need to turn left in a second. Animal dealer is just here. There's no animal dealer sell point on this one. This is just an animal dealer. If we cut around the back here. We've got spinnery on our right hand side, just there. Actually, that was the thing I was going to check. Here at the town, can we buy... Oh, they buy the whole lot. Wow, that's a big plot up there, isn't it? Nearly 1 million. With the forestry down the side, there is forestry, look. On the edges of the map. It's all the way down the side there, we've got a bit of forestry, haven't we? So yeah, you could buy that entire plot up, and then like, again, you've got all these little houses and little courtyards and stuff for placing sleep triggers or whatever you want. I guess once you've bought all of that, if you can find placeables and production chains, there's plenty of space for putting them all in. You can have all sorts of little cottage industries and stuff going on. Farmers market, sell point just on the left there, and another lime station. They must get through a lot of lime on this map. And now we're heading south. They're on the western side of the map, heading south. So yeah, forestry on the right hand side. I say forestry, actually, that's right. It's not actually. It's right on the edge of the map, isn't it? So whilst you can buy that plot, and it's showing there are a few trees there, but the actual map edge is right there. So we're going to just turn left in a second into the Sawmill. Now the Sawmill is a little bit different in that it's just a sell point. It's an old school sawmill. It's not a production chain. It's just a sell point for lumber and wood chips. But we have got carpentry next to it. So we go, sell point for wood chips is just here. Your sell point for your lumber is here. There's not a production chain point for this. Now carpentry, your pallets will spawn there. Your manage point is around the back. It's hidden around the, what's that hidden? But it's around the back. It's just the way the building's been oriented. And putting into your carpentry is just done there. And that, like I say, unless I've missed a plot somewhere, which sometimes I've lost the plot, but I don't know if I've missed a plot. I think we've been around the whole lot, as far as I can tell. Like I say, the only bit we didn't show, I haven't shown, is the little lime station there. We've got some bridges that cross over the river there that come from the lake, or to the lake. Could feed it, could come from it. That's the map. That's Bantikow by Puma145. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.